but I wasn't, you know. But so I went in, and I gotta say, you know, I was starting to feel kind of anxious when I had to go in to check this, you know, the CT scan, get the results, and I called Cheryl. I was like, oh, Cheryl, I've got to go in, you know, and she goes, well, what are you worried about? You already know you've been cured, you know, I mean, it's gone. And I was like, that's right, what am I worried about, you know, because the power of the Lord, you know, it's really, if that's what you need, that is the top priority in your life, because once you have that, everything will fall in line, you know, and you can have nothing. Just believe and have faith and just take one step at a time, you know, because, I mean, I'm alive, you know. No, and it's like, but I knew I'd be okay because of the faith I had in the Lord. And it almost reminded me how much faith I did have by going through this. And that's kind of most of, you know, everything that happened with the cancer thing, but I just wanted a couple more minutes to say a couple more things that really happened in my life that within this past time. So it's like the Lord is really trying to get my attention. You know, like, okay, you take that walk, girl, you know, like, be stronger in faith, you know, if it's possible, which it is. Like I said, a lot of things have happened in the past couple of years, and I had I have a son who I love dearly, and he was just, he's a big giant guy, you know, but we all know how there's crystal meth going on in our communities. Well, he was very, very heavily involved, really heavily involved, and it got to the point where we couldn't even have a conversation without him screaming at me. My kids live on Oahu, so I was, you know, communicating, or I'd go to see them, and it was just really a difficult time. And I would just pray and pray and pray. It seems like I've been praying constantly for my family. And I gotta tell you, it is definitely, I'll never give up praying. Always pray, because it's the backbone, you know, your belief and your strength and encouragement to other people, you know. But, you know, I was praying and praying, and I was like, Lord, you know, please. You know, I would think if we could just have a conversation like a family, you know, my son and I. But, you know, I just kept praying. I didn't give up. And I thought, you know, if only some kind of intervention could cross his path to open his eyes. Well, there was an intervention. He was busted and was arrested. He was sent to jail.
Hallelujah.
And it was like a very direct, I mean, it was like, you know, boom, you know. And not even, I guess, a month later, he is a totally changed person. It's been over a year now, but he's a totally changed person. We have great communication, and, you know, I have 2 grandkids through him, and I go to visit him, he visits me, he calls me all the time, and that was a blessing I thought would never happen, because I thought, get off that, you know what, you know, because it's a shame, it's the devil's work, you know, and he knows to the day how long he's been clean. He's enrolled in, he's almost finished actually, he says, you know, Mom, I got to do something positive with my life. He's doing cordon bleu cooking, you know, chef. So that's one of the reasons he's so large, besides being off the drugs. You know, he's not a skinny, you know how you get when you're doing drugs like that. And that's one thing, which is just a blessing for me. And I mean, it just keeps coming, it's coming. And my daughter, I have 2 children, they both live on Oahu. I have 5 grandkids. Do I have 5 grandkids? Yeah, 5. But the newest one, not this past Thanksgiving, the following Thanksgiving, I went up there to Oahu, and she's like, oh, Mom, well, she's pregnant, you know, and she's like, oh, we're going to go get an ultrasound. And I'm like, oh, great, yeah, let's go, you know, and it all was great. I went back to Maui, and, you know, praise the Lord, another grandchild, you know. Not even a week went by, she calls me, and she tells me, she's crying, and she's like, oh, Mom, you know, I don't know what to do, you know, and I'm like, what's wrong, Leona? And she's going, well, you know, the doctors, they said there's something wrong with the baby. and they didn't think she'd be able to keep it. There was, the valves in the heart aren't expanding, and so she wouldn't be able to develop properly, and they wanted her to abort the baby. And I says, you know, Leona, I says, whatever you decide to do, I'll stand behind you, but pray to the Lord. And she's very, you know, with the Lord. And so we prayed and prayed, and she's like, I'm gonna give this child a chance with the Lord. And some time went by, and she eventually had to go up to, she's with Kaiser, and they sent her to San Diego because they wanted her to be there prior to the, you know, when she gave birth, because they were going to have to operate on the baby. So anyway, she gets up there, and you know, they're like watching her because any day she could lose it. Well, she ended up giving birth, and she's the cutest baby, you know. She did have surgery on her heart when she was a day old, and she's had a surgery since then. But if you saw that little girl now, she is a jewel. And the Lord had a reason to keep her with us. She's far from, she's just starting off in life. And about a couple of months ago, I went over, we had a blessing, and a birthday party, a 1-year-old birthday party for her. And you should hear that little tita. No, I mean, my daughter recorded this on the phone, this message of her telling off her dad. And of course she can't talk right, yeah, and she's like, yeah, like about 10 minutes, and I thought, she is not done. She has such a journey ahead of her. And so, I mean, these are just 3 things that have really impacted my life. In not even 2 years, really, you know. And that is right. And it's, I'd say miraculous, but it's supernatural. Supernatural, you know. And I can't say enough about the Lord. I don't care if they don't want to hear it. It's like more people need to hear, you know, the Lord. I mean, it's like, sometimes I cry when I can't reach somebody, you know, because it's like, I think, time is precious, and we can't lose time. We need to all come together and just know, and just, you know, it's like, the more people that are with the Lord and praying, and just, I mean, it's how powerful that is, you know? I mean, not just yourself, oh, boo-hoo, you know, it's like, you know, pray, man. Put it out the door. Just go forward. Just know. You know? I mean, and so, you know, just being one person, you're not just one person. You can impact so many people. And it's like, it's just, God, I just want to blow up sometimes, you know? Just like one people said, you know, wake up, you know? Do it. Just do it, man. And, you know, the best thing to do is just start praying. If you don't know what else to do, because everything will follow. And I mean, I know sometimes I just talk about it like to my son, and I say, I know everything is going to come in line. And it's just so, sometimes I almost feel, I wish I could, like, okay, you've given me enough, go ahead and let's bless some of these other people. But there's reasons for everything, you know, and it's, I mean, to thank the Lord, like, for my sister, my family, for all of you. And I wanted to thank, I know Cheryl, when she first found out that I had the cancer, she had people in her church, like, please pray for me. And I have to say thank you all, because it worked. So that's really what I wanted to say. Thank you, and this is a blessing. Thank you. Thank you. And I didn't need my kids.